Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 28, Kapila's Instructions on Devotional Service, text number 24. Uru Suparna Bujayor Adi Sobhamana Ojo Nidhi Atasika Kushamava Vaso Vilambi Pita Varsha Vasasi Vartamana Kanchi Kalapa Parirambi Ditamba Imimbam Uru Suparna Bujayor Adi Sobhamanav Ojo Nidhi Atsika Kushama Bavaso Yalambi Pita Varsha Vasasi Vartamana Kanchi Kalapa Parirambi Nitamba Bimbam Uru Suparna Bujayor Adi Sobhamana Ojo Nidhi Atsika Kushama Bavaso Vilambi Pita Varsha Vasati Vartamana Kanchi Kalapa Parirambi Nitamba Bimbam Uru Suparna Bujayor Adi Sobhamana Ojo Nidhi Atsika Kushama Bavaso Lambi Pita Vara Vasasi Vartamana Kanchi Kalapa Parirambi Nitamba Bimbam Jai. Changed it. the two thighs, Suparna of Garuda, Bujayo, the two shoulders, Adi, on, Sobhamano, beautiful, Ojanidhi, the storehouse of all energy, Atasika Kushuma, of the linseed flower, Avabaso, like the luster, Vilambi, extending down, Ita, yellow, Vara, exquisite, Vasasi, on the cloth, Vartamana, being, Kanchikalapa, by a girdle, Parirambi, encircled, Nitamba Bimbam, his rounded hips. Next, the yogi should fix his mind in meditation on the personality of Godhead's thighs, the storehouse of all energy. The Lord's thighs are whitish blue, like the color of the linseed flower, and appear most graceful when the Lord is carried on the shoulders of Garuda. Also, the yogi should contemplate his rounded hips, which are encircled by a girdle that rests on the exquisite yellow silk cloth that extends down to his ankles. Purport by His Divine Grace, ISKCON's founder, Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all strength, and his strength rests on the thighs of his transcendental body. His whole body is full of opulences, all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. The yogi is advised to meditate upon the transcendental form of the Lord, beginning from the soles of the feet and then gradually rising to the knees, to the thighs, and finally arriving at the face. The system of meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead begins from his feet. The description of the transcendental form of the Lord is exactly represented in the Archa Vigraha, the statue in the temple, in the temples. Generally, the lower part of the body of the statue of the Lord is covered with yellow silk. That is the Vaikuntha dress, or the dress the Lord wears in the spiritual sky. This cloth extends down to the Lord's ankles. Thus, since the yogi has so many transcendental objectives on which to meditate, there is no reason for his meditating on something imaginary, as is the practice of the so-called yogis whose objective is impersonal. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhutle Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Padantingham Vandeham Shri Guru Shuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagujatam Sagana Raganatam Vinamdam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Pidhamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopi Ganda Radha Kanta Namostate Jayatam Sarito Pangor Mama Manda Matergati Matsar Vasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Dibyad Brindaranya Kalpachumada Srimad Ratnagara Singasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prestalabi Savyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Bamsi Bhattatatasti Karshan Venu Svanar Gopir Gopinatha Shri Estuna Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasandubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhamanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Urusuparna Bujayor Adi Sobhamanav Ojo Nidhi Asika Kushamabhavaso Vilambi Pitavara Vasasi Vartamana Kanchi Kulapa Pari Rambi Nitamba Bimbam. Next, the yogi should fix his mind in meditation on the personality of Godhead's thighs, the storehouse of all energy. The Lord's thighs are whitish blue, like the luster of the linseed flower, and appear most graceful when the Lord is carried on the shoulders of Garuda. Also, the yogi should contemplate his rounded hips, which are encircled by a girdle that rests on the exquisite yellow silk cloth that extends down to his knees. So the chapter is entitled Kapila's Instructions on Devotional Service. So you would think, or it could be thought, instructions on how to fill in the blank. There would be all kinds of steps, and you have to do with these things. But here, these instructions are simply to meditate upon the Lord's personal form in all different natural variety, beginning from the Lord's lotus feet, rising all the way up to his smiling lotus face. And indeed, the most important parallel to the Lord's transcendental form is the literary incarnation of the Lord, which gives a great example of how to do this properly, the Srimad Bhāgavatam. One should proceed carefully, step by step, and not jump haphazardly, as is the practice of the Sahajiyas. If one reads the first 9 cantos, then one will be able to enter into the realm of the 10th canto and be able to properly gaze upon the Lord's lotus feet. After completing the first 9 cantos and moving on to the 10th canto, one can convince others of God as a concrete principle and to be able to defend the reality of devotional service to the Lord from the onslaught of any and all atheistic ideas. And indeed, this is one of the main qualifications of the Acharya, or one who is a bona fide spiritual master. Master of spirit, master of devotional service to the Lord, love of Godhead. The description of the transcendental form of the Lord is, no, where is it? This system of meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead begins from his feet. So this, in this section in the chapter, we are slightly in, on verse 21. The devotee should first concentrate his mind on the Lord's lotus feet, which were endured with the marks of a thunderbolt, a goad, a banner, and a lotus. The splendor of their beauty, ruby nails, resembles the orbit of the moon and dispels the thick gloom in one's heart. So, because the Lord is the absolute personality of God, and as mentioned here, complete, uh, full of all opulences, all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. So, therefore, meditating on the absolute supreme personality of Godhead produces all varieties of that which is desirable by everyone. Because Krishna, he is the original personality, and from him, unlimited personalities in different categories emanate. So the emanation is most perfectly satisfied when sheltered in the original source of their emanation. Just like the child is satisfied being fully taken care of by the mother. So we are seeking that relationship with the original personality of Godhead, the soul of our very soul. When we are disappointed in, how is it said, wanting solace from who we think is a well-wishing or loyal friend, and we're disappointed, then if we go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can understand the volume of our distress much more than anyone else can, and can provide the solace and the program by which one can achieve complete freedom from anxiety and total satisfaction of heart. In the case of Dhruva Maharaj, who greatly underestimated or was unaware of the Lord's transcendental potency and supreme beauty, unaware of the greatness of his unlimited opulences. When achieving the Lord's mercy, was just so much amazed that he made the statement that I was searching for a broken piece of glass, but instead I've achieved a most valuable diamond. So Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here the description of the transcendental form of the Lord is exactly, not partially, not a vague kind of parallel, but exactly represented in the Archa Vigraha, the statue in the temple. Perhaps we could say it's interesting to note Prabhupada's use of the word statue here. This third canto was compiled by Srila Prabhupada in 1968, where deity worship was first being introduced. Achyutananda was one of the first disciples, persons to join Srila Prabhupada here in New York. And he, in one of his memory recalls, describes how Srila Prabhupada was speaking about installing the deity in the temple. And I guess we'll say who? Hayagriva. Oh no, just like the Catholic Church, we're going to have idols? I think I heard that on the Prabhupada Memories Chutananda was saying it. And Prabhupada, when he heard that, said, they are not ready. So Prabhupada, by his own admission, was saying, I was gauging the American people and then ultimately the youth who were the ones who came to him. Swamiji, why are you coming here and preaching to the young people at the college and university? Why are there only young people at the college or the university? Prabhupada answered the question by asking a question. Because youth is the time of education. Exactly. You cannot teach an old dog new tricks. It was Prabhupada's retort. Touche. So, so gradually introducing, and then when more and more sincere people came, and Prabhupada understood, most important limb of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, and what to speak of more advanced stages, as today is the, we will try to budget some, we will, not try, budget some time to describe the glories of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Okay. Who can say who Gopal Bhatta Goswami, his devotion called to this world? Shri Radha Raman. When Radha Raman appeared miraculously the day after the Nrsingadev appearance, Nrsinga Chaturdasi, in the year, if we can live another 18 years, we will be able to be on this planet to celebrate the 500th anniversary of Radha Raman's appearance, 1542, 2042. Good luck to one and all. Anyway, well, if this body is here or not here, you will celebrate because you will go back to Godhead and etc. So he was lamenting that he wanted to have a beautiful deity of Krishna. He was gifted by a wealthy devotee, all beautiful paraphernalia, clothing, crowns, accoutrements, everything, to worship a form of Krishna, Tribhanga, Krishna. And he's having Shalagram Shilas. And his main Shalagram Shila became Radha Raman. I'm not telling all aspects of the story, a quick synopsis. So he's reading the pastime, it's the potency of reading Lord Nrsingadev's pastime in the Srimad Bhāgavatam. And he took rest for the night, and when he woke up, his main Shila, round Damodar Shila, had transformed into Radha Raman. And all of his Goswami brothers, Rupa and Sanatan, and all the great devotees of Vrindavan came and saw this miracle transformation and proclaimed the beauty of Radha Raman encompasses the three principal deities of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinath. In particular, Madan Mohan, from his lotus feet and his thighs. Here are his thighs of this storehouse of all energy, just like we ourselves. If we have good, strong thighs, then we can walk very nicely, and the whole body moves. But if you're exhausted, then your legs are like Gumby or something, and just so everything that we are our body, of course, it's inferior, lower energy, and we're just small jiva. But there's some parallel that we can understand. So and meditating on the Lord's transcendental form, one is freed from making the great mistake, the folly of being attracted to someone else's material body for the sake of whatever. we fancy in our mind. We did a play one time, The Deliverance of Lord Shiva, and the line that we gave to Vishnu appearing as a dwarf brahmachari when Brikasura was in mad pursuit of Lord Shiva to try to touch his head and make it crack in a million pieces. The thing that Lord Vishnu said, first he said, "My dear son of Sakuni." In other words, that you compliment someone based on their bodily family relationship that makes them feel very. And of course, demons, they think that their lineage is greatly respectable. Whereas we hear the name Sakuni, we're like, ooh. Sakuni was right in the dice game, right? Cheating the Pandavas. Do we want to emulate his character? Is he a praiseworthy person? But for his son, oh, my father is such a great. Why are you run? Oh, I have to capture that Lord Shiva. Said, wait, you have to sit down. You have to take rest. Don't you know you have to take care of your body? Your body is so important because with this body, you can fulfill all the desires of your mind. Wow, yeah, that's right. Okay, I'll take rest. So demons, you appeal to they have to take care of their body. We have to go to the gym, we have to get buff, we have to work out, we have to look beautiful, we have to do this. Prabhupada describes the appearance of Hiranyaksha. His body was stout and strong and seemed to block the sun in all directions. And Prabhupada says, when a materialist gets a body, when they think that they can walk down the street and block the light in all directions, and everybody will be attracted to them, that they have reached the goal of their life. Krishna's transcendental body. We're here that meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord dispels the thick gloom in one's heart. All miracles come, all benediction comes by worshiping the Lord's transcendental form. Who here has ever offered an artik to Sri Sri Radha Govinda? Who here has ever done bathing or dressing of Radha Govinda, Radha Krishna, or Nitai? Who here has ever cooked boga for their lordships to enjoy? Who here has ever offered that boga? Maybe you didn't cook it that time, but offer the boga. What do you feel like after you've done any of those things? You feel enriched with transcendental knowledge and realization. You feel detached from the things that people are materially attracted to. No, thank you. You're not even thinking about it. And you feel a type of happiness called transcendental happiness, unparalleled with any other type of happiness you've ever experienced in this world. Can we agree with that? And does it make you want to do it again? Right. Thus, since the yogi has so many transcendental objectives on which to meditate, there is no reason for his meditating on something imaginary, as is in the practice of the so-called yogis whose objective is impersonal. Someone may say that aside from the devotees who always seek shelter at the Lord's lotus feet, there are those who are not devotees but who have accepted different processes. Your truth is beautiful. I saw that as a card in the Hallmark shop on the top level. If you want to get warm in the Port Authority bus terminal, or you go up to the top floor, and when you get to the top of the escalator, there's a Hallmark store with all varieties of cards anyway. What happens to them? In answer to this question, Lord Rama, the other demigod, said, this is prayers to Lord Krishna by the demigods in the womb, second chapter, 10th canto, very important. This is verse 32. O lotus-eyed Lord, although non-devotees who accept severe austerities and penances to achieve the highest position may think themselves liberated, their intelligence is impure. They fall down from their position of imagined superiority. So everything that a devotee does is not based on his imagination. It is confirmed by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra because they have no regard for their lotus feet. An important purport, which we will glean some pearls from. One who has not come to the point of seeing the lotus eyes and transcendental form of Shama Sundar is a failure. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hirdayesha vilokayanti. Those who are attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in love always see the Lord's lotus eyes and lotus feet. So the system of devotional service, as it's mentioned here, instructions on devotional service. This is not like, going to trade school and learning how to be a plumber or something. The result, what is it? Vitaraga Bhaya. Many, many persons in the past became purified through transcendental knowledge of me, and thus they achieved transcendental love for me. Knowledge, to know me is to love me. And knowledge and its concomitant parallel result or power, renunciation and detachment, is not cultivated exclusively. Knowledge and renunciation does not create bhakti, but bhakti creates knowledge and renunciation. Prabhupada says in one place, just try to develop one's love of Godhead, and that will solve all contending problems or accomplish all other needs. Be thou happy by this sacrifice, because by its performance, everything desirable will be bestowed upon you. So everything desirable isn't just bhukti or comfortable living in this material world, but our need is liberation from the vicious cycle of repeated birth and death. But even more than that, much more than that required, is prema. And the sacrifice of this age, the Yuga Dharma, the chanting and propagating of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, includes all of that and so much more. Or more, that prema bhakti is unlimited. Anandam buddhi vardhanam pradipanam purna. Not that there's more things, but it just expands. Whereas others cannot see the Lord's beauty and are therefore classified as andrita yusmad angraya. That's from the Sanskrit of this verse, or neglectful of the Lord's personal form. And Prabhupada makes this very strong statement. Those who neglect the Lord's form are surely failures on every path in life. How can we feel compassion for all of these people prancing and frolicking around, all cocksure themselves? Because we understand that whatever path you take, man, is beautiful. It's all one. It's all good, man. They're going to be failures. And the result of that failure, their future is very dark. Very, very risky. You don't know where you will go next. Maybe you will be born as a cat or a dog, or even worse than that. But if one develops even a little love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is liberated without difficulty. A little love. One very important aspect of love is loyalty, isn't it? I think Harvey Lass tells this story, original Prabhupada disciple, that, or maybe it was he who asked this question, I can't remember exactly. That Prabhupada was asked, how do you show love for the spiritual master? And the devotee was thinking, I'm gonna have all these feelings in my heart. Prabhupada, the Prabhupada will give you have all these feelings in your heart, and Prabhupada said, you show your love for the spiritual master by keeping your vow. You vow before the spiritual master, before the deity, before the Vaishnavas, fire. You keep your vow. That is love for the spiritual master. So that is initiation, which is the beginning, or which is a fundamental, foundational principle of, or definition, or the identity of a devotee throughout. It doesn't necessarily mean that by doing that, I'll immediately be ecstatic like a madman, like Lord Chaitanya. But it's the foundation to ultimately lead to that. Don't think that this chanting and dancing won't lead to desired success. It will. Even if one has a little love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is liberated without difficulty. Svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahto bhayat. Love a mantra, even 1/11th of a second association with an actual devotee is enough to ensure complete perfection. If not immediately by our calculation of the passage of time, but from Krishna's point of view, very, very quickly. Simply think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer some slight homage unto me. Simply by this process, one is guaranteed to return home back to Godhead and thus attain the highest perfection. My place mark fell out of the book. But I remember where it is anyway. Adi Lila, chapter 10, the branches of the Chaitanya tree, verse number 105. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the 47th branch, was one of the great and exalted branches of the tree. He always engaged in discourses about love of Godhead in the company of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami was the son of Venkat Bhatta, a resident of Sri Rangam. Gopal Bhatta formerly belonged to the disciplic succession of the Ramanuj Sampradaya, but later became part of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So here's a very good precedent of one coming from another Sampradaya and taking shelter of the Gaudiya Sampradaya, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. In the year 1433, Sakabda AD 1511, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring South India, he stayed for 4 months during the period of Chaturmas at the house of Venkat Bhatta, who then got the opportunity to serve the Lord to his heart's content. So, of course, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, as this purport will conclude by revealing, is one of the eternal associates of the Lord, of Radha and Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. So it's interesting to say here, as a young child, as a young boy, like if a sannyasi or great devotee comes to a householder's house and spend some time, it wouldn't really be said that the 8 or 9 year old boy got to serve the sannyasi to his heart's content. That seems like a fantastic thing we wouldn't hear in normal parlance, right? So that's kind of revelatory. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he's seemingly a 10-year-old boy, but he's actually, and that, and so wonderful is this principle of Lord Chaitanya's associates, that an entire book is given just to give the dual identity. It's called the Gora Gonadesh Deepika by Kavi Karnapur, who was the young son of Shivananda Sain, who, among other things, was the responsible leader to bring the devotees of Navadweep every year to Jagannath Puri. And when he was an infant, Puri Das was his name at the time. He went and he took Lord Chaitanya's big toe and he sucked on it. So the result of that is that he became the great Kavi Karnapur. So he got to serve the Lord to his heart's content. Gopal Bhatta also got the opportunity to serve the Lord at this time. Oh, okay. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami was later initiated by his uncle, the great sannyasi Prabodhananda Saraswati. Of course, also very important during that 4-month period was that his uncle, the brother of Venkat Bhatta, Prabodhananda Saraswati, was staying there. And of course, Prabodhananda Saraswati, he is understood to be one of the Astasakis, Tungavidya, who is known to be very, very deep reservoir, knowledgeable personality. So in the incarnation of Prabodhananda Saraswati, he became, let's just say, a very incredible transcendental personality. And the few books that he wrote, all save except Acharya Rasa Prabandha, which is a parallel chronological description of the night of the Rasa dance. If you look at Vrindavan Mahimamrita, Radha Rasa Sudanidhi, there's no real storyline because he's just oscillating and just like so much like moved in the ocean of love of Godhead that he's like, but at the same time, the themes are very exacting and particular and revelatory and instructive for devotees who wish to advance in Raganuga Bhakti. So the great Prabodhananda Saraswati gave initiation to Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Both the father and the mother of Gopal Bhatta Goswami were extremely fortunate, for they dedicated their entire lives to the service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They allowed Gopal Bhatta Goswami to go to Vrindavan, and they gave up their lives thinking of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Lord Chaitanya was later informed that Gopal Bhatta Goswami had gone to Vrindavan and met Sri Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, he was very pleased, and he advised Sri Rupa and Sanatana to accept Gopal Bhatta Goswami as their younger brother and take care of him. So this 1489, I believe, that's Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami. So he's 1511 minus, so he's born around 1503. So a good 14 years younger. So he's being accepted as the younger brother of Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis. Sri Sanatana Goswami, out of his great affection for Gopal Bhatta Goswami, compiled the Vaishnav Smriti named Hari Bhakti Vilas and published it under his name. Under the instruction of Sri Rupa and Sanatana, Gopal Bhatta Goswami installed one of the 7 principal deities of Vrindavan, the Radharaman deity. The Sevatas, priests of the Radharaman temple, belong to the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So the families that take care of Radharaman, you see, they live in the compound around Radharaman, which also includes the place where the Radharaman deity appeared, and also the place of Samadhi of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. These families come from the original disciples, families that Gopal Bhatta Goswami set up to take care of the Radharaman deity way back in the 16th century, so many hundreds of years old. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami took permission from all the Vaishnavas before writing Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Gopal Bhatta Goswami also gave him his blessings, but he requested him not to mention his name in the book. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is mentioned, Gopal Bhatta Goswami only very cautiously in one or two passages of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, this being one, describing him as the 47th branch of the tree of Lord Chaitanya. Srila Jiva Goswami has written in the beginning of his Tattva Sandarbha, quote, a devotee from southern India who was born of a Brahmin family and was a very intimate friend of Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis has written a book that he has not compiled chronologically. Therefore I, a tiny living entity known as Jiva, am trying to assort the events of the book chronologically, consulting the direction of great personalities like Madhvacharya, Sridhar Swami, Ramanujacharya, and other senior Vaishnavas in the disciplic succession. In the beginning of the Bhagavad Sandarbha, there are similar statements by Srila Jiva Goswami. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami compiled a book called Sat Kriya Sara Deepika, edited the Hari Bhakti Vilas, wrote a foreword to the Sat Sandarbha and a commentary on the Krishna Karnamrita, and installed the Radharaman deity in Vrindavan. In the Gora Gona Desh Deepika, verse number 184, it is mentioned that his previous name in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, it's mentioned in the Gora Desh Deepika, was Ananga Manjari. Sometimes it is also said to have been an incarnation of Guna Manjari, which to my knowledge or awareness is the more commonly accepted identification, Guna Manjari. Srinivasacharya and Gopinath Pujari are two of his disciples. And in conclusion, this is also the disappearance day of Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj. This is the wonderful devotee that Narottam Das Thakur is mentioning in his song, If I Could Have His Association, that would make my life fruitful and worthwhile. He was the glorious disciple of Srinivasacharya, and if you put his name, ISKCON Desire Tree has a nice biographical description of his life. So it is exactly 9:02. We thank you all very much for your attention in this regard. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.